Happy Wednesday. It's your girl Adina, and I'm back with the 13th edition of the Liberated Pussy podcast. I got my little pussy ears on, my kitty cat. Meow. They actually light up, but I'm sitting under the light, so you can't really see that they're flashing lights. I am going to invite my sister Monique to join us. Let's see, and we will get this party started. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my couch. Let's chat it up. Come on, IG. Yes, 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 yes. So it is Wednesday. This is Mercury Day, and it is the 13th of December. Lots going on as we wrap up this beautiful 2023. Okay, Monique, I have accepted. I'll just keep clicking it until we get it in. IG likes me to click it a lot of times. IG likes a lot of fondling and clicking, so I'm clicking it. Come on, IG. Let her in. Let her in. I'm rolling my magic egg. All things feminine today. Cat ears, eggs, and fun stuff like that. Come on, Mo. Hey, $1 Billion Boom. I see you watching us. You've been watching us for a while. I even see you reposted us a couple times. Okay. Going live with Monique. Come on, IG. Everybody give me your energy so that we can get Monique in here. Let's say, there she is, our magical words, abracadabra. Hello, darling. Darling.
Hello, Adina. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm wearing my pussy ears today, my pussycat ears. Yes.
Oh. Today is Wednesday, and it's a Mercury day.
It's a Mercury day.
And Mercury just went retrograde, so it's a big
day.
Yes.
Just started talking about that. I said, but you know, Mo will give us all the skinny on Mercury retrograde, which started today, and we just came out of that beautiful clearing new moon. So we have a lot happening.
We just started it. We just started the new moon. Yeah, it's so exciting. You have a Capricorn moon, so this is a big retrograde for you because Mercury's retrograde in Capricorn. So
it is. It feels big. That's why I wore my ears. Like, people say, why do you wear that? I said, well, whenever I'm having a tough time or I feel like I need a little extra support, I do something silly like cat ears or pom-poms or something like that. And it actually helps. Like, these little things help me. If I engage little Adina and give her what she wants, big Adina feels like she could go on.
Girl, I love that. I really love that because, you know, it takes some self-wisdom to know that you need that. It takes you've had to pay attention to yourself. You have to take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
To be able to know that the answer is little Adina.
Like, little Adina. Little Adina is feeling away. Give little Adina a lollipop. Give little Adina her cat ears. Give little Adina her fuzzy slippers. And then big Adina is okay. She's okay. Yeah.
That's really powerful. I really love that. You know, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to go meditate on that because I have always been really serious.
You are serious. Yeah. But you and I play together. I get little Monique out and you play with little Adina. We have fun together.
Yes, it do. So I need more little Monique to come out because little Monique was serious. Like, as a little child, I used to be like, little girl,
go read a book. Go sit down.
My grandmother used to be tired. All those questions that she'd be like, Monique, I don't have the answer to that.
I don't have the answers. You come back here with all these deep questions. Go sit down somewhere. Go sit down. Were you the kind of kid who asked a question over and over again? Were you the kind that would just do that?
No, I didn't ask questions over and over again because people didn't have the answer to my questions. Because my questions were things like, how come I'm in America and not in Africa?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Like I'm Black and Black people are in Africa, but why am I here?
Why are we here? What happened?
Right. So I had questions that were challenging for people. So I didn't often get the answer. So I just would start doing my own research.
Okay, look, a 3-year-old doing research. She is in the library. Little Monique is pulling down books, underlining
Girl,
stuff. Okay, she's been
I
studying
was
her lifetime.
I have been studying, and so but now it's time to play. Now I need to play. So I
Now it's
love
time to
that we
play.
get to, because this is
Mhm.
this opens up a different aspect of me,
Mhm.
and I like to like let go of all of the stuff
Mhm.
that I have, all the information that I have acquired, that I have stored up.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
time to use it.
right. It served its
Mhm.
purpose, and now it's like
Mhm.
how to actually make it work and have it be fun.
Mhm.
So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I wanted to say this about little Adina, since we were
Yeah.
talking about our little selves and questions. I asked a lot of questions too, but
Hmm.
when the adults couldn't answer, I didn't stop. Then it became why. Well, why? And why? And why don't you know that? And why didn't they teach you that? And why? I mean, it would just drive people crazy. I don't know.
That
Why are you sad? Like, what is the problem? I should be able to ask a question. Should I be able to, just kept going.
yes, that
Mhm.
is really, and I feel like, as children we really have a lot of wisdom. That's what I really believe.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we have wisdom from source. We
Mhm.
don't have the wisdom of the world.
Right.
And so, because we don't have the wisdom of the world, we're really attempting to find out how to function here, you
It's trying
know?
trying to make it make sense. It's like the wisdom that I have is not linking up with this picture. This doesn't make sense. Why aren't y'all asking questions? Why are you
Right.
just taking that? That doesn't make sense. I remember my mom telling me one time, I don't know. That's what was told to me. And that's all I have. That's all I got.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'm like, okay.
That is
There it is.
really something. I don't
Mhm.
know, and that's what was told to me. And that's the legacy that we're here to stop. We're here to
Yeah.
stop the legacy of I just believe what people told me. That's the
Hmm.
legacy
Hmm.
that we are
Hmm.
taking apart. That we have to take what someone has told us and
Yeah.
take that as the authority and the truth and live by it. No, we're going to
Yeah.
create our own systems of belief and practices and rituals to create our reality. I was saying that Mercury's in retrograde, and Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn, and Capricorn is our authority. Yeah, kitty cat.
I gotta just squeeze that in while you're being serious. Y'all see my kitty cat,
Right.
my pussy cat mug.
You're so funny.
Our authority, kitty cat.
Capricorn is our authority,
Hmm.
and that's a tricky thing for sometimes as children or as women
Hmm.
or as human beings, because we feel like the police are the authority or the
Hmm.
president is the
Hmm.
authority or the laws are the authority,
Hmm.
but all this is
Hmm.
made up shit. All of
Yeah.
this is made up stuff, and we
Hmm.
are the authorities in our own life, and many of us give our authority away because we've been conditioned to do so.
Right out the gate.
Like, so you need to believe in Jesus. You need to
Hmm.
get a husband. You need to
Hmm.
get a job. You need to go to school. That's giving our authority away
Hmm.
when we are taking it on because others have told us to. Now, if we choose it because it actually serves us, then
That's different.
that's different, right?
Yeah.
Um, but you have to ask questions in that case, like
But
you did.
no judgment either way, because we're all here to walk it out. And if you
Yeah.
choose to go that path, there'll be some answers for you down that path somewhere that'll lead you
Yes.
back home at some point. So
Yes.
follow your heart. And that's the conversation. Follow
Yes.
the lessons and the light that is coming from within.
Yes.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So, since you got a kitty, since you are a kitty cat, here's a real kitty cat. Say
Hi,
hello.
kitty. What a
Hello. Say
pretty
hello to the.
kitty.
Say hello to
Oh
these
my
people. Say
goodness.
hello to these people. She's like,
What a pretty kitty.
she's a pretty kitty. She's a pretty kitty. So I'm excited for our conversation today.
Yes. I didn't tell the people yet what we were talking about. And
Okay.
I'll take this opportunity to do so. We want to have a conversation about submission, dominance, and neutrality. submission, dominance, and neutrality. We'll be preparing for this conversation. I just looked up submission, dominance, and neutrality on YouTube. I found all kind of stuff about BDSM and sexual things. I'm like, okay. And of course, that is an avenue. And we can talk about that too, but that is not the context of our conversation. But I just thought that was interesting that that was the predominant context of, if you look up submission, dominance, they're just thinking of subordinating sexually.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? That is interesting.
I thought so too.
Because when I first started studying submission, that's what I found also. And I did a little research. Like I used to go and, listen to this brother who was really into BDSM. And what I learned in that was the person who had the most power was the person who was submitting.
Yes, and that part is powerful because I think the context, when you think of the connotation of the word submission and what we've been taught to believe, you think of submission as weak. Yes. You think of submission as slavery. You're downtrodden, you're submitting. But there is power in submission. And for me, in looking at it, it is a power conversation and how you function, your position to the power. How are you functioning with the power, internally or externally? So that's the context of this conversation. So for folks who don't, you think everybody know what BDSM is? Like, do we need to talk about what those letters are? We got so many letters we're kicking around.
Well, I don't know that we're going to have a conversation about BDSM as much as we are about but I actually don't know what BDSM means. So I'm happy to hear what the context of it, but to know that our conversation isn't about BDSM.
Bondage, dominance, BDS. Okay, bondage, submission, dominance. What is it? Sadomasochism or something like that? Yeah. It's that. Yeah, so that kind of stuff is what, when we say BDSM, is what we're talking about. And people have been able to utilize even that practice for healing if that's their intent. You can use anything to heal depending on what your intent is. Yes. I know I grew up thinking of BDSM as just some scary stuff like, oh, that's the devil worshipers. Oh, no, and they do weird stuff with kids and children and blood, you know what I mean? Like that was what it was like, be afraid, be very afraid.
Yeah, yeah.
But now I think I have at least an appreciation of people just using different aspects for healing, for pleasure, for enlightenment,
Yeah. Yeah, I've not gone down that path, and I'm much more, but I appreciate anybody's path, but I'm very interested in what I see. There's a big conversation in the social media lately about women being the submissive role and women needing to submit to men, submit to your man. Like that's the thing that I'm interested in discussing, because I feel like every time I see a post about it, I'm like, this is not what submission is. This is not what the understanding. It's not about giving your power away to somebody. I'm really clear that if any human being or a man needs someone to be less of themselves for them to feel powerful,
that's
then that is false power. That is not real. You don't need other people to submit to you in order for you to have power. And so I really wanted us to have a conversation around really what is feminine submission and masculine dominance. What is it for real?
Okay. It's just feminine submission, because masculine can submit as well. I think they get it twisted. So when someone says women submit to your men, immediately my flags go up, and I'm like, oh, it's a no for me. If it's coming that way, it's almost like slavery. When you say slave, submit to your master. No, I'm out. Nope, I didn't sign up for this. So when it's said in that context, it doesn't resonate at all. Like it's like immediately I'm in soldier, I'm ready to fight. Yeah. But when you understand, like you said, what true submission is a dynamic of how you utilize your power. The dominant and the submissive both have equal power. And I don't think people really understand that. Yes. The power is equal, whether you're dominant, submissive, or neutral. The power is equal. The whole thing is the position of how you use your power.
Yes.
That part. So the dominant is utilizing power outside the structure. It's on the outside, just like, and so I think naturally the way society has us believing now, you assume that that's masculine because the masculine tends to be external. We understand masculinity as external, like the genitalia is external. Whereas feminine power or submission, not necessarily feminine power, because you can have feminine dominance as well, but submission is utilizing your power inside or within a structure. Not outside the structure, inside the structure. And then you have neutrality that is, could be in or out. It doesn't pick a side. And equally powerful. If you understand, I remember seeing someone say that, and this cultures. So Asian women in particular, they're tending to be very, at least externally, very demure, very submissive, and you think that they don't control. They just kind of go along with status quo. But what I came to learn, oh no, they're very controlling, but internally. Yeah, like they ran that whole thing, but from the inside and quietly. It doesn't have to be in your face. It's right here. It's right up under the thing. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I feel like the thing that I'm very aware of in my own dynamic with submission is how significant it is for me to submit to a higher force. To, like, I submit to the cycles, right? I submit to the nature, right? I submit to nature because that's how my power really works best. So I follow the cycles of nature and I align myself to that order that's already in place. I am submitting my will to it. But it benefits me. I'm not submitting, because I don't have a choice. I'm submitting because there's benefit here. There's value here when I align myself to the natural cycles and I submit. And so there could be times in my life where I want to do something where the cycle, like, I might want to be more extroverted, but the cycle is saying, go inside, go internal. Then I will submit to what nature is doing, even though I might be feeling like I need to go do this external thing. Nope, nature is saying go inside. So I will do that thing in a different way. I will take that thing into ritual and I will watch it magnetize because I submitted to nature. I will watch it show up in a way that didn't require me being in my masculine energy.
That's a beautiful example for folks to really understand submission. I think if you understand it from that perspective, you understand it's not necessarily weakness. By using submission to nature, your power actually gets bigger because the structure's already there. Whether you are in alignment with it or not, that structure, the sun is going to rise every day. The moon is going to set, rise every night. Everybody say hi to my son, Adisa.
Hi, Adisa.
Thanks, Dee. So I think that's a perfect way to understand it. And so with that, it's not a lessening of your power. It's actually an expansion of your power. It's an intelligent way to utilize your power.
Yes.
But when
like
someone
multiplies
says,
it.
Yes, expansion. But to submit to something, a structure that is unnatural, or a structure that you don't necessarily agree with, that's when you create harm or disharmony or sickness, really.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, I remember when I was raised a Christian, and I remember my attempt to submit to that structure of Christianity, which said I needed to believe in someone outside of me. I needed to believe in this deity called Jesus. And what was so fascinating to me, and I remember being like, this doesn't work. Like, I'm submitting, I'm doing it, and I'm not getting the results that it promises, right? And so what I realized was that this system doesn't work for me. It doesn't get me, it drains my power rather than expands my power. It vampires my power rather than, multiplying my power. And so this is why it's important for us to understand that submission and dominance is a natural way. It's an ebb and flow. the shore submits to the ocean,
Right.
and the ocean submits to the shore. Like it goes both ways. Not one is not more than the other.
Right.
And I feel like one of the things that's the challenge for us as women is because in our culture, we don't teach, we don't proclaim, announce the power of submission and feminine power. We make
Mhm.
it seem like it's weakness.
Yes, we make it seem like it's no power, like it's feminine unempowered, but it's really
Right.
not so. And the
Right.
masculine, when he's really being upfront with the self, knows that without the feminine, it's like, what is there? There's no reason to get up. There's no reason to brush your teeth if you don't have the feminine. Like, we need the feminine and the masculine in balance for this whole thing to work. Like, without that, then what are we doing? What are we doing
Right.
here? So
Right.
feminine has power for sure. For
Yes.
sure.
But we don't understand what that is or how that
Right.
works.
Right.
Because I remember when I was younger and growing up and, my emotions, I was made to be afraid of my emotions. I
Mhm.
was made to disbelieve my intuition, not to
Mhm.
trust it, to doubt it.
Right. Right.
And when I say made, I don't want to, like, nobody forced me, but I didn't have other examples because I don't want to sound like a victim here. I didn't have other examples of women who were doing ritual. Like, if I'd grown up in a different culture, I probably would have, but I didn't have those examples. So I abandoned my own feminine energy, internal power, for external masculine energy.
Well, the story around emotions was just suck it up. Like, you fall and you cry, stop crying. Your feelings are hurt because your friend moves away. Suck it up. Stop being a baby. It was negatively looked upon when you were in emotion. Those
Yeah.
were stories told to girls and to boys, but especially to boys. But
Yes.
boys have just as much, men, the masculine, have just as much emotion as the feminine. The feminine is not the only owner of emotions. Like, I talked to a man one time, and he was like, well, I can't cry. I'm like, well, you got tear ducts. I mean, that's not a mistake. I mean, you have tear ducts too. I have tear ducts. Like, and if you're crying, it's okay. It's really okay. It's the
Yes.
story you're telling yourself about why you're in emotion and you shouldn't be this and you shouldn't be that. It's, can we give ourselves room enough to be the full human that we are? The stories can be so oppressive, but
Yes.
now we're asking the questions, and we're asking the God inside ourselves to answer. We're not asking our parents or grandmoms or that kind of thing. We're asking them, and then we're researching them and getting our answers. So
Yeah. It's the I love feminine energy. I think it is so powerful because when I'm tapped into it, the level, like, the universe comes alive in this profound way that
mhm.
it doesn't come when I am in my masculine dominant mindset, when I'm logical and looking for facts and all of that. Because I think what I just never really understood, that I'm beginning to really understand more and more and more, everything here is made up. Everything here is made up. So these rules that we play by are not really rules at all. They are made up things that we've given power to. And so, you know, I didn't know that I could just use my imagination to see something the way I desire to see myself in it, to feel
Mhm.
something the way I desire to feel. And if I can hold that imagination and that feeling long enough, then that experience will magnetize. And that is feminine energy.
And that is beautiful. That is the magic. That is the magic. And that's submission. That's internal work.
That's right.
That's where the power that creates all that we see really, really rests. That's
Right.
where it really lies. So that's beautiful, Mo.
One
I
of the
hope.
things that I really want women to understand is that I used to have this partner that would say to me, men are subject to women. Men are
Mhm,
subject to women.
mhm,
And I used to hear him, but then I had to go do
mhm.
some research to understand. And I really studied men and their nature and what drives them and what motivates them. And once I understood that men were subject to women, I started to realize that whatever I want from a man, I don't have to use my words. I don't have to tell him anything. All I have to do is see him doing it
Mm-hmm.
in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
See him doing the very thing that I desire to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it inside of myself, hold it in my frequency, and lo and behold, he will.
He will.
Without me opening my mouth, without me
Mm-hmm.
making a request,
Mm-hmm.
because we are connected to the invisible realm. We
Right.
are communicating through subconscious frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are focused and we understand how it works, it unfolds what seems like magic, but it's
It
really
works. It
science.
is magic. That's the thing.
Yeah,
When you do it that way, you find it works. It works better than words.
that's right.
Like us telling them all the time is absolutely not the way to do it. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying don't speak, because there's a time to speak, but
That's
there's
right.
sometimes when we're speaking too much and we have to go to our magic. We have to go to our submission,
Yeah.
submit to a structure. And the
Hmm.
structure is the internal power. Utilize the places where you are powerful to bring what you want into fruition. So that's what we're talking about. And it's not about bowing down and all this other bullshit. It's not about that. It's
It's not.
about knowing where your power lies and going
Yes.
there to get
That's
what you need done. And
that's
when
right.
you do, we change the world.
That's right.
Hey,
Can you
we change the
imagine if we
world.
had a world filled with women who understood that our relationship to the masculine was really internal and that
We
the
are
men
creating it. That's what we're creating. That's exactly what we're up to. We are
That's
changing
right.
the world woman by woman as we walk ourselves back home and
That's right.
understand the power inherent in true submission.
That's right.
True
That's right.
submission. And it's really to yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It is really to yourself and to your connection to that invisible reality, that
Mm-hmm.
invisible world that really is where all the magic and power is. And I mean, the things that I experience by being really devoted to my ancestral work, really deeply connected to my spiritual guides, really reliant upon nature. When I walk out of my house, touching the trees and being like, thank you. This morning I was standing waiting for the Uber, and there's a tree above me, and I just stood up and was like, thank you to the tree. And the leaf literally just did like it just, and there was
Nice.
no breeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my connection to the unseen world is strong
Mm-hmm.
because I cultivated through ritual and practice and incantations and prayers and
Mm-hmm.
meditation. So, when my cats are outside and I want them to come back in, I don't have to use my voice to call them. I can just
Mm-hmm.
close my eyes and imagine that cat right at my window. Within 3 or 4 minutes, she will be right there because she heard me.
Yes. Yes. Cats are amazing because they do show you that they hear you.
Yes.
They hear your intent. Like when you pissed at them, they're like, I know you mad. And
I
they can
feel
one
it.
up you. I feel it. They can one up you. So yeah, they're
Yes.
a beautiful way to practice. I
Yes.
love that. Teacher Mambo said on here, and you don't even have to say anything out loud. And that's the point of what we're saying. When you understand what submission is, it's about going to the place where your actual power exists. And men have this too. It's just women or the feminine, let me say it that
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Feminine energy is what is tapped into the magic of the inside world. And
Yes.
that's where the power is. So submission and dominance is really position to where your power is. Is your
Mm-hmm.
power outside or is your power inside?
Mm-hmm.
That part.
That's right.
Understanding that's what it is. Not
That's right.
about bowing down and all of that. It's position. Position.
That's right. That is,
Hmm.
and you need to be in the appropriate position to experience the power.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
is, and it's, you know, one of the things that is really profound to me is as I begin to study my natal chart and my feminine energy and do the work that we're doing in Goddess Gathering, learning how my energy really works so that I can be in my best position. We've been taught all these things that might not apply to you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was taught that I needed to get married and, you know, go to college and find a husband and get married. And I did those things, and that drained my energy because that wasn't
Yeah.
my position.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so you have to really get clear about what your position is and get yourself in that position. And that
Mm-hmm.
often means removing many belief systems that were installed or conditioned inside of you that are blocking you from actually being in your appropriate power. She says, what does appropriate position look like? Do you have an answer for that? What does
Well, I
the
think maybe she missed the beginning of the conversation.
Mhm.
So when we talk about position of submission and dominance, it's talking about submissive is internal power. That's power on the inside. So that's what you're submitting to. And like Monique gave a beautiful example of nature. So as a powerful being, we're all equally powerful. It's just how we're tapped into our power or not. She chooses to submit to the cycles of nature to increase her power. That's a choice. You can act like the moon doesn't affect you. You could act like the sun doesn't affect you and be in complete opposition to the circadian rhythm of the planet. You could do that. And
Yes,
you'll
you can.
feel all jacked up in all kinds of
Yes.
ways, but you can live like that. Nobody's
Yes.
saying you have to submit. She chooses to recognize the new moon and the full moon and the waxing gibbets and to align her actions with that internally, which increases the power. That's what we're talking about. So
Yes.
we use that as an example, but when you think of that with another, you think of how you can submit internally to something that aligns with you. We're not talking
Mhm.
about things that don't align with you. And that's where you have to come home to you and be real, do your internal work and know what's in alignment with you and what's not.
Yes. It's very personal. Let's say it that way. It's
Yes.
very personal,
Yes.
right? Because though everyone has eyes and a nose and an ear and a mouth, everybody's voice sounds different. Everybody
Do we
has a
just have
different
one ear? You said an ear and a mouth.
yeah, ears and mouth. My point is that we might all have the same energies, but they function differently, is what I'm trying to say,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Everybody can see, but I might see a shorter distance than the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my voice is louder than other people's voices. It
Mm-hmm.
probably usually is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I
Yeah.
don't hear all the frequencies that somebody else. We
Yeah.
all function similarly, but it is unique and individual, and it's important. It's your responsibility to understand your unique way of functioning.
Yeah. We may be looking at the same stimuli or experiencing the same thing and have a different output and
Yeah.
understanding that. Monique and I are looking at the same thing, but it means something different to her than it means to me. The perspective could be different. And so this
Yeah.
is where the personal piece comes in and where you have to do your work. And it's not about just taking a story that doesn't really align with you.
Yes. Yes. So what the other part of it that I think is so important, because the feminine is the feminine can be feminine dominant,
Mm-hmm.
feminine neutral, and feminine submissive.
Yep.
And sometimes what the best thing that I've learned is to learn how to function in all three of those. What does
Yes.
feminine submissive look like? What does feminine dominance look like?
Mm-hmm.
What does
Mm-hmm.
feminine neutrality look like?
Yes. And they all look like power, but how do they use their power? No
Yes.
one's weak here. Like all of
Yeah,
those feminines have power. It's just how they utilize that power.
that's
That's
right.
what we talk about in Goddess Gathering. We get into the nitty gritty of that and understanding how to connect with, like Monique said, all aspects of your power and even your masculinity, because we all have masculine and feminine energy access available to us. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about. When you do
Yes.
this, you're powerful beyond measure because you are literally a goddess. You are living in yourself as God on this planet. And it doesn't negate anybody else.
Mm-mm.
It's not an objection in any religions or any of that. You understand who you are. The stories don't matter because you know who you are.
Right.
It's really quite beautiful. It
It
really
is
is.
so beautiful. It is really beautiful. And I mean, it's just so magical. It is
Mm-hmm.
so magical. And one of my great lessons this year as we close out 2023 is I have been in an experience of submitting to the truth of my essence, the truth of who I really am, and understanding that I, at my core, I am pure abundance. My needs are always met. Because I was raised in a family where there was quote unquote poverty or whatever the story is, I associated my abundance and wealth with amounts of money. And what Spirit has been teaching me all year is that your needs are met, and that has nothing to do with the particular amount of money. If you are true to what your needs are, the universe is going to meet it because you are abundant in nature.
Sure.
And so one of the things that I've noticed in myself was needing the external world to look a certain way before I could know that I was abundant, or before I knew that I was happy, or before I knew that I was enough. And what Spirit has been showing me is let all that go, because everything comes from within you. It comes from your feminine nature, which is connected to the infinite.
That reminds me of birth, giving birth. So anyone's giving birth. I had 3 babies at home, so I didn't have all of those electronics and things. When I was having a contraction, nobody's looking at a monitor. They're looking at me for the information. I'm looking at me. So to contrast that, I've been in births of my friends in hospitals. And she's having a contraction. She looking at the monitor. They looking at the monitor. I'm like, hello, look at the monitor. I'm like, why are you looking at the little TV? Like, you know if you're having a contraction. She's looking at the thing to see if one's coming. I'm like, hello, I mean, just feel like let's get in touch with what's happening right here. Like, fuck that little TV right there. It was so weird having done it natural 3 times. I'm like, this is what a hospital birth is? It's about all of these beep, 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 beep. So even the mother's looking at that shit. She's not even tapping into the wisdom, the shown of wisdom of bringing this life into the world, who's your body talking to the machine. And you looking at the machine, you giving the machine the data. It's the same thing. It's you. You have the data. You're the data source. You're the one communicating with God right now.
That's right. Come on, glory to the goddess.
Hello. Glory to the goddess and all the mothers, and no judgment on however you gave birth. It's just an example of what's happening inside you that you already have the access to the information to. You don't have to look outside. All you got to do is tap in.
That's right. All you have to do is tap in.
All you got to do.
You didn't say a word. I don't know if we need to say anything else. Glory,
the doors of the church are not open.
Ooh, yes. So I am wanting to invite you all, Adina and I. First of all, we are planning a retreat in July to Bali.
We have sold out 5 rooms already. Had added a second retreat center. So the resort right next door, we have private villas, has been added. Okay, so y'all got to get in here. Monique and I are going to Bali in July. And you're welcome to come with us.
We would love to have you come. And what we are doing is we are growing a community of women who understand their connection from within themselves to the universe. And the power that this offers, like, I cannot tell you how often I have shifted the external reality just by going inside of myself and moving the parts around inside of myself, doing a ritual, talking to Adina. How do I want this to look? How do I want this to unfold? Blah, 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 blah. And we agree, right? Because where there are 2 or more who agree, it is so, right? So we agree, and then call back later, girl, it worked out, such and such and such, because that is our power, and we understand how to use it. So we have a goddess gathering every Thursday night, 5:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. We meet and follow the sun, and the membership is $77 a month. We do the rituals, we do the practices, we work on the archetypes, and we have a powerful conversation that helps us remember our natural divine gifts as women.
Who we are.
who we really are. And so we would love to have you. We meet tomorrow. We meet every Thursday. We meet unless there's a holiday, and then we offer something in its place. But is there anything you want to add, Adina?
Well, we're getting ready for the solstice. So next Thursday will actually be the winter solstice, and we will be in ritual together on the solstice. We have a cleanse that we're moving up toward as we come to the clearing time of the sun, the solar year. And we are healing, and not just healing, we're developing. We're developing our goddess muscles. We're developing our goddess consciousness. We're developing our understanding of really knowing who we are in this lifetime. And it's very beautiful. And no matter where you are in your walk, there are expansions to it. It's like, okay, you got to high school, and then you go to, 13th grade. You get to 13th grade, and you go to the next thing. But this is better than college, because college is obsolete. Like, by the time you graduate, your education is already obsolete. This is the stuff we should have been learning. This is real education that is timeless. It's timeless. It's inside you. We're giving birth to ourselves anew. Every day. Every day.
Every day. I love my life because of the work. I love it. And the magic is addictive and profound. It's breathtaking. And I'm just so grateful to be a partner with you, Adina. Like, I'm so great. It matters to have friends who do this work and live in this conversation. It matters because otherwise, people at this time are very connected to fear. And I understand that. I get it. The world is really changing. But if you're focused on the fear and you're focused on, the war, whatever that stuff is, that is what you're going to create, because we're in a highly creative time right now. So the opportunity is for us to really learn to focus inside of ourselves. So being in a community, having friends, having people who support you, who hold you up, who affirm you, where you affirm them, and not so that you can, not because remember I was telling you, I don't need the world. I don't need to look out in the world and determine who to be, but you do need to have friends, because it's like a pillar, and the pillar will hold you up, because there will be times when you forget. That's the structure. That's the structure. That's right.
So Goddess Gathering is the structure for you to develop in. What you focus on expands, which is what you just said. So if you're focusing on the crap on TV, you're expanding fear, which is keeping you a little stuck until you're ready to get unstuck.
Yeah.
So we are focusing on our power, and that's what's expanding. And that's why we're going to Bali. Hello.
Yes. So I'm just happy. I love you, Adina. Thank you so
much
for being here today.
I love
happy
you.
Mercury Day. I love you. Happy Mercury Day, everyone. And we're excited to have you guys join us if you're ready.
Come on. Those who are ready, the links are in the bio for the retreat, for the weekly Goddess Gathering. Let's do this work. Let's do this work together. Love you all. Have a great one. And Monique, I'll talk to you in the morning.
Okay. Peace and blessings, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.